2024 Mercedes-AMG EQE First Drive Review, a sleeper SUV, despite its looks. With Mercedes Performance Department's first crack at an electric SUV, it aims to create the ultimate all-rounder. The Mercedes-AMG EQE SUV blends comfort, utility, tech, grip and handling, and a large dose of the potent power AMG is famed for adding to Mercedes luxury vehicles. In theory, you can seat 5 people in comfortable tech-laden luxury, then scare the pants off them on a back road. Mercedes invited us to Carlsbad in San Diego, California, to get a taste of the new version of its spiced-up SUV before we witnessed the unveiling of its 111 concept. If you want the short version, the AMG EQE is brash, quick as hell, and its highlights include Mercedes' expansive Hyperscreen infotainment display and up to 677 horsepower laid down to all 4 tires through its 4MATIC plus fully variable all-wheel drive system. If you want the long version, here's why the AMG EQE SUV is a sleeper SUV in need of a few tweaks. Exterior, in aggressive block. Mercedes is capable of delivering incredible styling to its cars but still seems to be searching for a recipe for its electric vehicles. It seems like the Mercedes-Benz EQE SUV was drawn using algorithms and equations for aerodynamics first, and then its lights and grille blended into fit, which gives it a 2D feeling in a 3D world. Whether you like it or not is a matter of taste. Still, AMG has laid its style on top of an AMG black panel radiator grille with hot stand vertical struts and chrome, air diffusers, an AMG-specific front splitter, and the wheel arch claddings in body color, and, for the first time, an AMG emblem instead of the Mercedes star on the hood, and even an AMG-specific projection that shows when you open or close the doors. Most apparent, though, are the 21 or 22-inch AMG alloy wheels. They look great, but, well, it feels like lipstick on a block. Interior, overwhelmed by tech. There are some lovely touches inside the AMG EQE SUV, including the upholstery and MB text with microfiber and red top stitching or, optionally, AMG-specific seat pattern nacre leather. The smooth transition from the center console to the instrument panel and black microfiber is pure design gorgeousness, and the flat-bottomed AMG performance steering wheel in nacre leather feels as good as it looks and includes some aluminum paddle shifters that control the energy recuperation levels, which are tactily satisfying. AMG sport pedals, AMG floor mats, and AMG lettered illuminated door sill panels all add to the sporty yet luxurious feel. However, it's all overwhelmed by the overly flashy and gimmicky Hyperscreen stretching across the dashboard from one side to the other. It's made up of 3 screens blended into one by a single piece of curved glass laid over the top. Some may love the ultra-modern look, but others will find it overkill. Infotainment, cutting edge. The giant panel of screens may overwhelm the interior, but the underlying software is incredibly powerful. It adapts to the driver over time and personalizes suggestions for comfort, vehicle, and infotainment settings, and adapts contextually as it is used. The onboard navigation system is also capable of predictive route planning. Adding to the powerhouse that is the Mercedes UX system for the EQE AMG-specific functions active in the instrument cluster, as well as the multimedia and head-up display. The key takeaway there is quick access to the AMG Dynamic Select Drive programs, or what everyone else calls the modes and settings, in the styling. Along with the usual suspects like CarPlay and Android Auto, the AMG EQE features a Dolby Atmos sound system. Sure, the front passenger can watch movies on their screen, but it's there for surround sound mix music, and the system sounds fantastic in depth and clarity whether you're listening to surround sound music or regular stereo. There are a few extra AMG-specific features, including the unlikely to be used properly by a customer AMG track pace that Mercedes describes as a virtual race engineer that permanently records more than 80 vehicle-specific data, i.e., speed and acceleration, as well as lap times. Powertrain, suitably nutso. If you buy a Mercedes with an AMG badge, you expect at least a borderline absurd amount of power. and the EQE's 600-plus horsepower is suitably absurd for a smaller SUV. When using the race start function, the two AMG-specific 6-phase motors can deliver up to 677 horsepower when adding the boost function, and it's hilarious fun when engaged. It prompts a 3.4-second sprint to 60 miles per hour, top speed is 149 miles per hour. Getting that kind of power to the road through two relatively small tire contact patches isn't easy, but the AMG Performance 4MATIC Plus fully variable all-wheel drive makes it feel easy. The 90.6 kWh battery is capable of being charged at 170 kilowatts at fast charging stations, giving around 100 miles of range in around 15 minutes. That's not spectacular, but if you have fast charging stations around that work consistently and a heavy right foot, it's very usable. Mercedes was keen to point out that the battery is designed to last and backs this up with a 10-year or up to 155,000-mile warranty. On the road, taut and rapid. The AMG EQE is blisteringly quick, the steering is taut and precise as hell, and it's aided by rear-wheel steering. The grip is just as impressive, and the engineers have taken full advantage of battery placement to create a fine balance. Given that it's shaped like a blob and the AMG styling is relatively low-key, we regard it as a hilarious sleeper, from traffic lights and on back roads, and likely at the track if someone has a sense of humor and a little skill. It's unbelievably quick. The suspension is equally excellent, but, as with all electric vehicles with range-seeking batteries, the damping on rougher roads leaves a little to be desired, and they dislike bumps. Still, it's not enough to complain about, and the ride is generally firm but compliant and stiffens without becoming spine-jarring when pushed into a corner. It's a genuine Mercedes-AMG experience, until the AMG sound experience gets on your nerves. A lot of effort has gone into generating digital noise to brand as AMG sound experience, and it's kinda fun for 5 minutes, then it becomes as irritating as a droning exhaust. You can turn it off if you dig into the settings, but when we stopped and restarted the car, it came back on. Hopefully, Mercedes will hear the complaints and update with a simple way to turn it off permanently. After all, electric power can make for a serenely quiet ride. Conclusion: Mercedes and AMG can do better. We understand coefficient of drag plays a part in stretching out the range of electric vehicles, but that is not always beautiful. It seems all the designers were left to play with here is the rear end, and had to tone it down so the AMG EQE SUV didn't end up looking like two different vehicles. The Hyperscreen feels like a gimmick from a brand that usually has more class than to stoop to such tactics. It's as if the brand is panicking about cars becoming about tech when, in reality, they all have 4 wheels, suspension, a steering wheel, and some seats, stuff Mercedes has spent over 100 years mastering at this point. And all of that is excellent, and it cruises around town and on the freeway in comfort as a Mercedes should, and it will perform like an AMG when provoked. With more interesting styling on the outside and reining in the glass on the inside, the AMG EQE would be a swing, a hit, and a Tesla with a broken windscreen in the parking lot. However, it will only appeal to those that are more interested in the badging and showing off the glass inside the car for now. Fortunately for Mercedes, there are plenty of those people out there.